In many, if not most divorces, the family home is the couple's largest asset. It can also be a very emotional item, a symbol of happy times, or it may be where your children have lived most of their lives. This can make it very difficult to let go and to assign a value to it. Joining me to talk about what to do about the house is real estate divorce specialist Jen Vucetic. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Paula.
So Jen, what can people do about the house?
It's usually, like you said, the largest financial asset of the marriage. So it's very important that they first speak with an attorney and then maybe a divorce financial analyst and then come to me. And at that point, they should have somewhat of a plan whether they can afford to keep the home. And there's 3 different things that they can do. They can either sell the home and divide the assets, or they can have one spouse live in the home for a certain period of time until maybe the children are out of school. And then they could also have one spouse buy the other spouse out.
And how long does it take to usually sell the house?
It varies from market to market. Any home that's priced right will sell.
And you're specialized in divorce.
I do, and it takes a lot more time and work, and it does take someone who understands the process to go through this, but it's very important to make sure that both parties have the same information.
And how do you deal with that? Like, how do you work, especially if it's a battle? How do they divide the house? I mean, if they don't agree to do that when they come to you?
That's where I come in play with working with both of their attorneys, and a lot of times it might start out amicably, but does not end up that way. So it's very important not to show favoritism and work with both parties and keep both attorneys abreast to what is going on in the situation.
And you see a lot of situations where the house is completely, there's no asset. There's no value in the house. So what happens in that situation, and what is your job in that situation?
A lot of times when there is no value in the home, and now you have 2 spouses that have to maintain 2 different residences, and depending on how many children, there's bedrooms to consider in each address. So that would be best to sell the home and then find 2 different living arrangements for them.
And in that situation, there's nothing to divide.
Exactly.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you would like to learn more about what to do with the house during divorce or have a question for Jen, just log on to my website at parentologywithpaula.com and send me an email.
When going through a divorce, selling your house is not an easy task.
That's why you need a real estate divorce specialist.
Jen Vucetic can be your go-between.
You won't have to do the back and forth between attorneys for the real estate. Jen will act in your behalf.
Jen has been considered an expert for court testimony.
Sometimes in a divorce, property can be one of the biggest issues. Let Jen be your expert.
JENNSOLDIT.com. JenSoldIt.com.